Hello everyone and welcome to Artantastic. This is Crystal and today we're going to do something new. I was playing around with a few paints that I had. I didn't even have the right brushes, but this is what I came up with. And one of my creative writing students saw it and she absolutely loved what she saw. And she asked me, is it possible that we could be creative even if we didn't have enough? And I said, of course, that's where your creativity kicks in. I've used very few colors and just 2 brushes. I'll show you how I did it. I used a combination of 2 brands and just 5 colors. They were Daler and Rowney's yellow and cadmium red and Liquitex white, light blue and ultramarine. So you see, you really don't need much if you want to be creative. I've used a small canvas board so that you get an idea about how you can use this even for something as small as a greeting card. For the brushes, this is a rather large square-headed brush that I had, and this is another smaller square-headed brush, and this is a third brush. So there were 3 brushes, not 2. This one has a fine tip for details. And of course, the straw. There's plenty you can do with the straw. You can see there's a lot of color on it. I've used it a lot. You can get very creative with the straw. So let's begin, starting with the light blue. And now some ultramarine. The ultramarine is a beautiful color, but it's also very transparent, as you will see. But there's a way to work around that. I mix a little white generally. You'll see as we go along. And that's titanium white. What I'm about to show you is one of the easiest blending techniques. And what's more, it's so much fun. Just watch. So what you do is you dip each end of the brush in a different color. Like that. Once your brush is loaded, you simply drag it across your paper and watch the magic. Isn't that pretty cool? Painting is just one form of creative expression, but there are so many things you can do. You can be a writer, you can be a dancer. There are just so many ways in which we can discover our creative potential. The idea is to have fun doing it. Just enjoy the activity. For me, activities like painting and writing are stress busters, and I'm sure it's the same for you as well. So you see now, the blue is transparent right there. I'm trying to put a little bit more over it, but I'll have to add white later for some opacity. I had very few colors to work with this time, but maybe we'll do another video and I can show you something similar using different colors. And maybe I'll get another brush. I'm using this now to blend again because the larger one is a little difficult when you want to blend smaller areas. But as I've said before, you can really manage with anything. Remember that when you're blending with a smaller brush like that, you must always clean it, otherwise you will not get the desired effect. You will lose color, or your color will spread where you don't want it to. And now I'm adding a little bit of the white so that I can take care of that little transparency in the ultramarine. Besides, this shade is perfect for what I have in mind. You'll see. That's starting to look good. I need to just take care of the sides a little bit. And once that's done, we just leave it to dry. And now to draw a tree. I'm not very good at that, but let's try. I use this fine-tipped brush and I just, draw a tree just randomly. It doesn't have to be very perfect. Trees are not perfect, but there has to be some, not symmetry, but balance. For me, the best way to paint a tree or even any nature scene is to actually observe nature. Observe a tree, and you will see the branches, the thinness of the branches, the delicacy as it spreads out, and as it grows thicker towards the trunk, and even the tree trunk itself, the thickness of it, because it has to bear all of those branches. It's quite fascinating, really. That's not bad. Not bad at all. And now for the really fun part. We use the straw. You dab it into the paint, but I think that yellow might be a little thick. Let's find out, shall we? So you dab it and you make, random leaves, like so. Yes, that is a little thick. I will have to thin it with a little water, which I'm doing right now. And now it's better. Sometimes one of my creative writing students will come up and ask me how I multitask. How is it that I paint and I write and I do so many other things? And I tell them that, every one of us is given a set of talents, and we need to be able to discover that. And how else if you don't dabble with things like my first time at painting, I just had a box of colors and I began to dabble with the paint, and I began to realize that I really loved working with color, and that's how I got into painting. For me, it's just another form of creative expression. Just like writing, you put down your thoughts, your feelings, your emotion, either onto canvas or paper. It's how the soul speaks. And I always emphasize to people that, when you want to paint or things like that, you need not have everything perfect, the correct brushes or the perfect setup. You can also just use things around the house, like now I'm using a straw, and you can use so many things. I've even used my fingers to get a certain effect. It's just the way you apply your mind and the kind of look that you want to give your work. The tree is starting to look really pretty. I love that cluster of leaves or blossoms. You can interpret it as you like. And we haven't even added the highlights yet, but it's so lovely. It's the straw that gives the leaves that cool, abstract effect. We're going to add a few highlights now, and that will make all the difference. Just a touch of that cadmium red against the yellow adds so much of drama to the composition. It kind of makes the entire thing come to life. It's so simple, this painting, but the composition, the colors used, it makes such a huge difference. You can paint a similar picture with different color combinations. Use your own ideas, your own techniques. Try out new things. But above all, observe nature. Now, I'm going to add a few leaves at the bottom, a suggestion of fallen leaves. And you will see that this yellow with a touch of red over it, it will again make the whole composition so realistic. It comes to life because it's what you see in nature. I do apologize about the angle of the camera. I mean, you're viewing it from the other side, but once the picture is done, I will turn the camera and let you have a better view. I need to let it dry for a bit, but I'll take you down for a close-up. And there it is, finished, but not quite dry yet. You see the effect of the color combination, the red and yellow against the ultramarine, and that lovely effect of the straw. There's a suggestion of leaves and blossoms, which makes it look really quite lovely. I really hope this technique inspires you to come up with something creative yourself. You'll see how enjoyable it is. Do try it. If you like what you saw, do hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you for watching.